Every team, every topic, everywhere. This is Believe.
Hi, friends. Welcome to Dads and Daddies, a podcast about the lives and times of adult gay men in the here and now. I'm Brian Ruben Sowers, the dad.
And I am Judson Morrow, the daddy.
Good morning, Judson.
Hey, girl, hey.
So we are recording this at 9 a.m. on a Saturday.
But, she gets up early. I did sleep in today. I normally get up at 5. Today, I got up at 7.
Wow, impressive.
Yeah.
2 extra hours.
Yeah, that felt, because my husband so sweetly was like, honey, I understand that you are obsessed with productivity, and if you're not moving, you're failing. So why don't you just try when you wake up in the morning, instead of bolting upright out of bed and starting to do stuff, just lay there. You don't have to go back to sleep. You just lay there. And I just thought it was such a sweet take.
Yeah.
And I did that this morning.
And it worked.
It definitely worked.
Amazing. How was your night last night? Judson and I also recorded yesterday afternoon, so we have not been apart that long.
It was it was, I'll forget about it. I will eventually forget it.
It was a forgettable evening.
Yeah, I'll forget about it. I went and got my hair cut.
Yeah.
I got my nails done.
Yeah.
Bada bing, bada boom. And then my husband and I had dinner and watched TV.
We hosted a dinner party for 17.
Not exactly like Pride, but okay. So dinner party for 17.
Also
Go ahead.
not exactly like Pride, because Toby and I were the only homosexuals in attendance. Well, so it was 8 adults and 9 children, so I can't really speak for the children in terms of where they stand on any spectrum.
Too soon to tell.
I will tell you that already the pronouns are all over the place. But anyway, lovely dinner party. But as I was saying to Judson when he arrived this morning, I think this podcast is making me gayer.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
And which is I love and appreciate about the podcast is that I have become so much more aware of and immersed in what is happening in gay culture.
Same.
Reading books, watching movies, watching shows, following comedians, all of that. And I love it. All of this in pursuit of either getting to know our guests better before they come or thinking about, potential guests. But I just, for the first time, I really felt the contrast. And these are people I love and adore, and I really do have a great time with them. And last night was a lot of fun, but I just felt a little bit of a wall up for the first time. And I was so aware of being the gay one in the room.
Mm-hmm.
Now, maybe partially that was because I chose last night not to drink and everybody else was. My husband is known for his margaritas, which he makes entirely from scratch. He squeezes the limes. He makes his own simple syrup.
He distills the tequila.
Outside of the tequila, he makes it all from scratch. And they are delicious and they are silent but deadly, meaning that you don't realize how strong they are. But I knew that you and I had this early morning session and I didn't want to be any more in pain than I am. So maybe that had something to do with it. But yeah, I felt so... I definitely felt the difference. I mean...
A distinction, yeah.
They were talking about how, so we're all parents of kids in elementary school. The range of ages last night, if the kids was not quite 2 years old to 10.
Mm-hmm.
And again, there were 9 kids in that span. There were about 3 of them were 6, 7. Maybe there was an 8-year-old, maybe there was a 5-year-old, and I think 3 10-year-olds. Anyway, and so one of the conversations was, one of the moms brought up, when are we going to start going out dancing again? Is that going to come back in our lives? And a dad was like, yeah, I really need more dancing in my life. And I just was looking at them thinking, I don't think I'm ever going to go dancing with you. For me, dancing is such a gay experience.
Correct.
Outside of being at a wedding or something like that. But for me, there's so much gay culture embedded into my dancing experience that, yeah, I just couldn't picture that. And then like karaoke came up, and then of course there were a lot of talk about sports, and just like I had to clam up, and then at some point I couldn't keep quiet anymore just about my feelings about sports, which I won't get into right now. But it was just funny, and I kept thinking of you.
I agree with you. The show, because we talked to really so many amazing queer people who are doing so many amazing queer things, and like just the research for the interviews or going to see their new project after we talked to them.
Right.
My life absolutely has gotten gayer. It was pretty gay before. I would say the straightest context within which I operate is my job.
Right.
It's not just work is like a straight context because the majority of people in the world are straight and they designed work in this country.
Right.
Unless you're working for David Lauderstein at Nasty Pig.
Right.
Like work is pretty, the conversations are straight, like the rules are kind of straight, and I'm aware of it, like not in a bad way. I'm also like very high signal at work just so other people feel safe and seen. But like I really have to edit. Like I have to think a lot, and that's what's kind of exhausting. In terms of
that too, like even amongst my close friends, they're talking about, the Knicks win. I feel like the Knicks win is like the new, like, where were you when JFK was shot? Like for our generations to be like, where were you when the Knicks won Game 5? And
in Albany at Capitol Pride.
I was in a stranger's apartment in Queens, not even aware of it. But I didn't feel like I could say that, even though these are some of my closest friends.
I see.
I mean, I could have, but it would have made Toby uncomfortable, and there would have been a laugh, but also a level of discomfort, I think.
Like, ooh.
Right. And yeah, it was just interesting to note that I was editing myself.
I just thought of, and this is straight at work. I worked for this tech company who, I'm not kidding you, I did not participate in this, but they had a beach day. Like everybody went to the beach, and I was like, no, the beach is for being fucking gay. And also, do we have HR? Like, why are you taking a bunch of people to be in their bathing suits around each other?
No.
Which is what I also think is kind of insane. For those of us in tech, specifically tech sales, there is something called President's Club, which is like, this is pretty standard across like tech sales organizations, where if you're like a high enough earner for the company, you make it into President's Club. It's like an award. And it's always somewhere tropical. It's always somewhere beachy. And I'm like, I don't want to be, I mean, I'm not eligible because I don't sell anymore, but it's like, I don't want to be in my bathing suit around the CEO of this company because he's going to feel bad.
That's hysterical. I went on a trip celebrating my company's 15th anniversary. So over almost 5 years ago to Cabo.
That's what I'm saying.
And we were all in the pool. There was a swim up bar. I was so angry about this trip.
Yeah.
It was also like just as COVID was getting better. And so like we had to test both to go and to leave the country, and like there was a chance that you were going to be told you couldn't come back. And I was so anxious about it, but I'm also like, this is not how I want to spend time with my colleagues.
I mean, I think about it too. It's like, it's also, it's not just straight, it's male, because I know that when you have women at the helm, they don't say, let's get in our bikinis in front of our male
my
colleagues.
Company is led by
that's fucking crazy.
No, my company is led by a woman, and this was her decision.
Really?
Yes.
Maybe I'm broad stroking it too much, but like I can't think of a world where like if you have like a high incidence of women in charge, they want to be at the beach with their male colleagues.
I'm telling you, this decision was made by a woman and other women. So
wow.
But yes. But speaking of feeling more gay because of the podcast and always having my mind on like who would make a great guest, I was on the subway the other day, and I saw, as we were pulling through a station, one of those moving digital ads for the upcoming Batman sequel, which comes out much later this year. And I thought to myself, gosh, where is Joel Schumacher these days?
Where is Joel
to have
Schumacher?
Joel Schumacher on as a guest. So I looked him up on Wikipedia. He's dead.
Yes.
And he died at the age of 80. And that was 6 years ago. So he would have been 86. But I was thinking like, oh my gosh, like not knowing that yet, I was like, Joel Schumacher would be so fun to speak with. I knew he was older, and I love having an older guest. And those Batman movies he was at the helm of were so gay.
Which ones are his?
Batman Forever and Batman and Robin. Like when there were nipples on the Batsuit.
Oh yeah.
And
Alicia Silverstone was Batgirl.
Yes.
Fuck
and
yeah.
and I knew he was gay. I wasn't sure how out. I didn't remember. And so on Wikipedia, I have to read this to you. I was fascinated and even more devastated that we can't have him on as a guest. So we have to get a Ouija board and do a Joel Schumacher episode. But Schumacher was openly gay and described himself as extremely promiscuous.
We love that.
Saying in a 2019 interview that he became sexually active at age 11 and estimating he had sex with between 10,000 and 20,000 men over the course of his life.
Which honestly, if over 11 to 70 years, break it down by week, break it down by day, it's not that many per day.
No, I know, but I just love that, like, this was 7 years ago and he was
good for him.
Open about talking about that. How did I not know that? I mean, that's like, he's my hero now.
Because that's a Wikipedia page, not the culture that we get fed.
Right.
Especially at that time, right? It's that information exists out in the world, but like it's not directed to us.
But I just thought, like, it just made me like, oh gosh, that would have been, I would have loved to have spoken to him.
Yeah.
I didn't know that he was, I mean, to know that he was so out as being a slut just made me so happy. And it made so many things make sense. I mean, he directed The Lost Boys. So anyway, I thought that was very cool. And it goes on to say, he said the first person he knew who died from the AIDS epidemic in 1983 was not promiscuous, which led Schumacher to believe he would die soon after. Recalling that he thought at the time, if he has it, I must have it quadrupled. I was sure I had it. I was planning my death, though he never contracted the disease. Anyway, I just wanted to share that. Since we can't have Joel on as a guest, since he passed away 6 years ago, I at least wanted to honor his sluttiness now.
We'll just interview Alicia Silverstone instead about what it was like to work with him. Whatever happened to, who played?
Robin?
Yeah. Chris O'Donnell?
Yeah.
Whatever happened to him?
I don't know. Let's find him. And Val Kilmer.
Chris O'Donnell, so 90s. Wow.
Yeah, I'm going to go back and find out anyone who is gay and slutty and bring him on.
We got a space for him.
From the Batman franchise.
The seat right in the middle.
Speaking of slutty, shall we listen to our hookup of the week?
Oh my God, my favorite. Let's do it.
Hookup of the week.
I'm a big fan. I listen regularly. I just want to say I really appreciate listening to your podcast, hearing other men in their 40-plus era still being able to explore with sex and have fun with their partners and still make it work where everyone can be slutty and happy. So this is my contribution for Hookup of the Week. We live in a very small town, and my husband and I own our own business. And randomly, I had met this gay HVAC technician last Pride, which is weird. I know everybody in my small town, but I didn't know him. So anyway, kept in touch, made sure that he kind of helped us out with different issues with our HVAC system over the past couple of months. And it's always been a little flirty, but nothing super crazy. Well, one of my AC units went down this week. And so I called and made an appointment with him. And of course, it was before opening hours. So he had texted me on his way over that he was actually coming from the gym, which of course was hot. But when he got here, he was shirtless and sweaty and just super cute. Boston accent, ginger, all the things. So we started making out like right away. And immediately I text my husband and I said, you should log into the camera because I think this is going to be hot. And it definitely was. I mean, I just bent him over and ate his ass and plowed him. And we just had such a good, fuck session that wasn't necessarily more than 20 or 30 minutes, but it was just super intense and hot. And after I finished, my husband had sent me a video of him jerking off. So I know that he was watching on the cameras, and we reviewed the footage together later that evening. It was just super sexy. So, yeah, I hope that was fun for you because it was fun for us. I look forward to listening to more episodes and hearing other people's hookups of the week. Thanks, boys.
Hookup of the week.
Oh my God.
My dick is straining in my briefs right now. Oh my God. My God.
I mean, literally perfect. Everything about it, from the arriving shirtless from the gym, the ginger, the Boston accent, I mean, it's such a fantasy that the person working in your house.
I mean, this HVAC guy is fucking smart because arriving shirtless is going 90% of the way and then just asking our listener to meet him 10%. He showed up shirtless. Like, it's on.
I think my favorite part is when he texted his husband to watch on the camera. I mean, that was when I gasped. That is so good on so many levels. It's hot, the compersion, the communication, the knowing that your husband would want to see this. Also, the reviewing the footage after reminded me of, when I go through Toby's Grindr with him as we're hooking up. Like, oh my God, I love it. And it's like, we really can make porn happen.
And that's the thing. Porn has ruined any type of service professional's visit to my home. We recently had like a fucking boring ass internet problem, and we called Optimum, and the technician came over. And in my head, because I'm ruined by pornography, I was like, he's gonna be hot. No, ma'am. He was really nice and really capable, but not a target.
Yeah. Oh my God. And please don't apologize for 20, 30 minutes.
Ever. He also nailed it. He was like, it was short, but it was intense.
Yeah.
And I think that's incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, I did have about an hour recently, which I loved, but it was like an old connect.
Right.
I'm still into the 20-30. Like, it's still, if it's intense and good, it's worth it.
I've got to tell you, I have had 2 hookups recently that left me wanting more. Like they were
amazing.
Like,
okay, cool.
And I kind of can't stop thinking about like, I need more time with these people, because like they weren't short, but they were like.
Is that a possibility to reconnect?
Oh yeah, but they were both like around the 20-minute mark, and so I think it's my point being, like, it's also fun to keep them short and keep them wanting more. And you can have all the fun still in that 20, 30 minutes.
Oh, yeah. And what this also reminded me of, too, is my husband was out of town recently, and he knew that I had a hookup scheduled in Brooklyn while he was gone. I knew that he had a hookup scheduled in D.C. while he was gone.
Yeah.
So we made the commitment to each other to send videos, which was so sweet. So, like,
videos of.
He sent me a video of his getting fucked by this guy.
Wow.
And I sent him a video of me fucking this guy.
Wow.
Because we both knew we were he was out of town. I was at home.
Yeah.
We both knew we were going to be separate. His video was particularly hot because this is someone that I have met but not been available to play with.
Oh.
And in the video, he's fucking my husband, and he's like, "This next load's for you, Judson." Like, he calls me out.
My God.
He calls me out in the video. It's sick.
That's incredible. Thank you so much for submitting that.
Thank you. Still hard.
Considering we're recording at 9 a.m, that really woke me up, so I appreciate it. Don't need a second cup of coffee now. Please do send us your hookups of the week. Email us at dadsanddaddies@gmail.com. Do keep them under 3 minutes. This one was just 2 minutes, and it was perfect.
Less is more.
Less is more. Great. Less is always more. Hence the 20 minutes. Record them on your phone using your voice recorder or voice memo app and email them to us. It's been a few weeks since we've had a book club selection for you. But coming up soon, we have Jack Harrison-Quintana, who is the co-author of Kink for Dummies. And it actually is a For Dummies book. Like, it looks like a For Dummies book. It's not Windows for Dummies. It's Kink for Dummies.
Oh my God, that's so funny. Because For Dummies is also like accounting for dummies.
Right, but like it's the same like black and yellow book that you recognize. It's got that same logo up top with the triangular face with the glasses. But it's Kink for Dummies. And so go pick it up. It is by Jaime M. Grant and Jack Harrison-Quintana. Jack will be with us soon. So yeah, it's your guide to the fun and spicy side of sex. It says inside, explore kink basics, expand your sexual horizons, stay safe and healthy, overcome common challenges, find your kink community, navigate a kinky lifestyle, play with new fantasies, and excite your partners. So go pick that up, give it a read, and then we'll all have questions, and you can send us questions for Jack, and we'll speak with him soon. For now, we're going to take a break, and guess who's back?
Guess who's back? Back again.
Dr. Daddy!
Dr. Daddy in the house.
Demetre Daskalakis, who promised us when he was first here that he would come back as Dr. Daddy. He's back. So, and he's just ringing my doorbell now. So we're going to go get him, and we'll be back in a jiff.
Bye. Hey, listeners, welcome back to Dads and Daddies, the podcast. We are here today with a what? Repeat hookup. Demetre Daskalakis, welcome back to the show.
Dr. Daddy.
Dr. Daddy in the house.
Hi, guys.
Hi. I'm so happy you're back.
I'm so happy I'm back, too. Thank you for having me.
Dr. Demetre Daskalakis is a nationally recognized physician and public health leader in infectious diseases and emergency response. Dr. Daskalakis is the Chief Medical Officer of Callen-Lorde Community Health Center in New York City, a leader in LGBTQ plus health locally and nationally. Prior to this role, he has held major leadership roles in the New York City Department of Health, overseeing HIV, TB, STD, immunization, and laboratory programs, and managing responses to measles, Legionella, and New York's initial COVID-19 outbreak. At the CDC, he directed the Division of HIV Prevention and later led the National Center for Immunization and Respiratory Diseases, where he managed strategies for influenza, COVID-19, RSV, and the transition of the U.S. COVID-19 vaccine program to commercialization. He played a critical role in national responses to respiratory virus threats and managed high-profile outbreaks, including measles and avian influenza, demonstrating trauma-informed leadership during challenging events like the August 2025 CDC shooting. As Deputy Coordinator of the White House National Monkeypox Response, Dr. Daskalakis' innovative approaches led to a dramatic reduction in daily cases. Throughout his career, he has championed health equity, LGBTQ plus health, and evidence-based policy, shaping national and global strategies in HIV prevention and vaccination. But most importantly, he is Dads and Daddies Dr. Daddy.
Yay. I need to add that in there.
We would love
That's
that.
pretty great.
We did it for you.
Love it. Love that.
No, obviously, we are so honored that you are back with us. As those of you who heard our first episode with Dr. Daskalakis, I'm going to call you Demetre moving forward.
You should call me Demetre.
As you all heard on our first episode with Demetre, we had such a great time that even, I think, on air, he volunteered to come back and be our Dr. Daddy. So we have a few questions from listeners, but we also need to catch up because a lot has happened between the last time we saw you and now.
No, Daddy's been busy.
Daddy's been busy.
So busy. Yeah.
So you're wearing a beautiful Callen-Lorde shirt, and there's as we read in the bio,
Emblazoned.
there's good reason for that. You couldn't.
Yeah.
We didn't know this last we saw
It was
you.
my secret.
Yeah. So tell us your secret.
Well, now it's not. So I'm the Chief Medical Officer of Callen-Lorde. And so I think you sort of talked about it for a second. Callen-Lorde is, one of the most important LGBTQ health organizations in the country. I would even venture to say the world. It has history. It's like such a storied institution. Like when you think about Callen-Lorde, it actually, like, its roots are 1969 Stonewall riots. So it actually starts there. There's two clinics that developed over time that were kind of these voluntary clinics where men and women, two separate clinics, were able to, seek out sexual health services in like what, ultimately now we would call, like LGBTQ affirming service. And then HIV happened. They merged together into Community Health Project. And then in the 90s, when I actually rotated through there when I was a med student, at the very beginning of its like new confirmation, it became Callen-Lorde, named after Michael Callen and Audre Lorde, who are, pretty awesome figures. And so, people have been like, well, obviously you should work at Callen-Lorde. This is like where you probably belong the whole time.
Yeah.
And I kind of feel that in so many ways. But so now I get to take all these ideas that I had sort of up in the federal government and actually like make them happen at the front line in my favorite city in the world.
That's amazing. Well, we're so happy to have you back in New York City.
It's good to be home.
Yeah. So how long have you been back and how long have you been at Callen-Lorde?
So I moved back sometime in February.
Okay.
And I have been, I lived in Hell's Kitchen for a minute because I was in temporary housing. I was, joking. I was literally over a hardware bar.
Yeah.
And like my hallway was the drag queen's dressing room, which was great and loud. But I moved back in February, started at Callen-Lorde in February. I've been there now, I think, in 2 days, it'll be my 4-month anniversary.
Wow.
Congrats.
Yeah, it's so good. It's so good.
I'm also glad that you made it through the winter. I think having moved here in February was fucked up.
Listen, so I became a soft Southerner living in Atlanta.
How long were you there?
5 years.
Okay.
So,
but you came from New York.
Yeah.
But long enough
5 years is enough to be like, it's 65 degrees. I need to wear a scarf and some Uggs. Like,
Right.
It's like very specific Southern. And so I moved back, and then the next day there was a blizzard. I hadn't seen snow for so long. And literally, like, my dogs were so perplexed. They were like, what is this? My husband and I were walking around Hell's Kitchen, like looking at all the yellow snow, and like, you know how it is.
Yes.
And we were like, well, I'm so glad to be home.
Yeah.
That's so sweet. That's actually really sweet.
It's totally true. We were like, yes, we don't have 80-degree weather in February, but gee, this is so much better, even though it's crazy.
So we're recording this June 20th. We're going to air actually a couple months later because we are storing some episodes so that Judson can leave me for a couple months in the fall.
I'm taking what we're calling a Cali-batical. I'm going to go live in San Francisco for a couple months.
Look at that.
Mm-hmm. How about it?
But I know you mentioned that you are able to put some ideas in place, and I know
hell yeah,
one of them I've seen a lot of media about, which are your kits. Do you want to talk about that at all?
Yeah, it's like a total unapologetic like prevention extravaganza.
So what is the official name of these kits?
So it is the Party and Prevention Kit.
Okay,
and it is this. There's this thing called a syndemic. Do y'all know what a syndemic is?
No. Nope.
See, that's why Dr. Daddy.
Yes.
So when you have like epidemics that interact, they can be made a lot worse by like social things, social determinants of health. So like you have HIV, STI, like drug use, like mental health problems, and like they kind of like live independently. And then like you have homelessness, sexism, homophobia, transphobia. And it's kind of like these individual epidemics are like molecules of carbon just like floating around. They're soft and easy to deal with. And then you have all these pressure and they get like compressed into a diamond and it's impossible to break. So like HIV, not just HIV, STD, not just STD. It's like one big mosh of like intense and hard matrix that's so hard to break. And so inspired by the fact that like all of our issues in LGBTQ sexual health are syndemic issues. So not just one thing, it's all the things. We pulled all these resources to make this kit. And so it's got an, HIV test, which you can either keep or give to your friend. You may not need it. Right. We already know your story. We have like doxypep. So you can have like a small supply of post-exposure prophylaxis after sex. It has PrEP on demand. So some PrEP pills that you take before and after sex.
Okay.
And then we have naloxone for overdose prevention, fentanyl and xylazine test kits, sunscreen because it's important and for your skin health, and also because doxycycline makes your skin more sensitive to sun. Lip balm, condoms, lube, etc. And we'll just give them away. And so we have had them at the clinic where people could just walk on up to Chelsea. We actually did it in Brooklyn on Thursday. But this weekend we're debuting in the field. So we're going to a couple of parties and we're just going to have our folks set up shop with a couple computers and some kits. And you dream it, you can be it. We just are giving them out.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
I am floored by the contents of this kit, and I'm specifically all of the independent pieces I would use.
Yeah.
And did you say Narcan or naloxone?
Same. Yep, we got it.
Okay. I'm just we see it advertised in the city. There's this video right now post the Knicks parade of this woman saving a man's life on the subway elevator because she had Narcan with her.
Right?
I want to get hip to it. Yeah.
So listen, I personally, as I have reversed 3 people using Narcan in Atlanta. Like I was at a pool party, like, gays having a great time.
Yeah.
Right.
And like all of a sudden someone turned blue. And like I literally had in my little bum bag, my Narcan, I sprayed it in his nose and 911 came, but he was, awake and alert, didn't have to do anything. I mean, and I had one on the street and another one at a party. Like actually, like I will never forget, like where was I? It was something it was like a horse meat disco somewhere. And like someone just on the ground. And like because I'm a Boy Scout,
Mm-hmm.
I had it in my pack. But like you don't need to be a Boy Scout or a Girl Scout. Like it's just so easy and it's free.
And where do you get it? Outside of
Callen-Lorde.
Yes.
So I mean, I think it's complicated, which is like why I'm putting it out there the way we're doing it.
Right.
So I mean, you can get it from the city, and there's places that are overdose prevention centers that are able to give it out. But I mean, like, I think it should just be, at the venue. Like I have like, the city does give it out to the venues, but like I've had people reach out because we put these out there going like, how do I get this? And I'm like, well, aren't you the manager of this like big bar? And it's like, you should know how to get it. I can help you, but like we can provide the assistance. And so it's just like kind of a no-brainer to just have it.
Now, if you're not in New York City, is there a way to get these kits?
Yeah. I mean, like, interestingly enough, like there are sort of, you can Google it actually. Like,
but I mean,
like,
your party and prevention kits.
Yeah. Oh, no. We're New York City based.
Okay.
I mean, like, I can tell you, I won't say which city, but I already have a health department out in California that's reached out to figure out how they can do it too.
Okay.
And so that's like what's so fun about my new job.
Yes.
Because like I know I know all the things. And, and so then like,
say it again.
If I have like someone or some place that's willing to let me go for it.
Right.
Like, so do you have time for a story?
Of course.
So I was like, I had the idea and I was like sitting around. I'm like, you know what? I need to go to a couple of the clinicians who've been at Callen-Lorde for a long time just to be like, I have this idea. And like, I'm pretty not an anxious person. But I walked in kind of going like, oh, they're going to have a list of 80 reasons why I can't do it. So I was like, I want to do the Narcan and I want to do the prep on demand and I want to do and plan B too for pregnancy protection, prevention. I forgot.
That's also in the kit?
It's also in the box.
If you ask for it, we don't put it in everyone's box, but if people ask for it, we give it. We ask them if they want it.
Wow.
So I went to these like more senior clinicians and I'm like kind of on par with them, like in terms of experience, and not quite necessarily duration of career, but not far off. And they literally started crying with joy because we were like going to make Callen-Lorde like an aggressive prevention place out in the world and not just in our walls.
Right.
And I was like, this is where I should be. Because that's exactly the reaction I needed. And my boss, the CEO of Callen-Lorde, Patrick McGovern, like literally like when I started talking about it as an idea, like literally the man lit up with like his eye. It was just like, yes. It was awesome.
So our listeners who are outside of New York City, what can they do? They can go to their clinic and say, look what Callen-Lorde is doing. This is a list of what's in it. If they can do it, you can do it. Do it.
No shade, but yeah.
Yeah.
Like it's totally doable.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like everybody's like, well, how can you do it? And it's like, it took us like not very long to figure out how we can do it and be like in full compliance with everything we need to be. Like, let's not pretend I just hand you a kit. Like,
Right.
it's a little teensy bit more complicated. Like, we have to have you do like the quickest registration in the world, but like we made it the most efficient and the easiest thing to do.
Right.
And then like we get enough information where we're like, we're covered from the compliance perspective. And like in the field, we have like community, we have folks that are that are, you know, administrative and know how to register people. And we have like nursing staff. It's pretty great.
So, and you're happy for other clinics around the country and world to copy you?
I'm always happy to be followed.
Yeah. Sincerest form of flattery, baby.
Yeah. Like, I mean, that's the whole idea is just to like, you know, that's what's so fun about Callen-Lorde. It's like, you know, they've always been an experiment.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, and it's like, it's really fun to sort of, you know, have like a staff and a team and leadership that is like up for pushing the envelope a little bit and like, let's go.
This reminds me 2 days ago, my cousin, who's an avid listener of the show, contacted me and said, do you think the parents of 15-year-old boys are talking to them about PrEP the same way parents of 15-year-old girls, which is too late, are talking, you know what I mean, are talking to them about the pill? And my response was, you know, when I was a 15-year-old boy in the 90s, it wasn't a conversation that I was having with my parents. You just kind of knew from the ether. Where are really young people, if not Callen-Lorde, or maybe through Callen-Lorde or some other local resource, like finding out about prevention? Is it social media?
So I think that there's a couple of answers. So first, you know, like everything in the LGBTQ universe, it is like an oral history. Like, so it's like, I tell my friend, you tell that person. I mean, like, that's how like, you know, injectable PrEP and injectable treatment is like sort of gaining steam. Like people are like, oh, I'm on this injectable drug now for PrEP. Like whether it's like, you know, whether it's lenacapavir or if it's cabotegravir, just whatever it is. And then they sort of spread the word about what it's like and how I don't have to worry about pills, or like I do this for my PrEP. So I think that there's that. I think that like, you know, folks are listening. I mean, reality is that, you know, social media is a universe of influencers. And, you know, many of them are not necessarily giving good advice, but that's where people, I mean, like, you know, kids are looking on TikTok and they're learning about stuff. And it's like, you know, the problem is quality control, right?
Right.
I mean, like, my joke is that if you are taking your advice from someone who has a coupon code, you probably need to. Am I right? Or what?
Yes, of course you're right.
If it's like, and you can get your PrEP from me, like you have to just be a little bit careful about that. But I think that the kids are talking to each other. I think that there is. I wish there was like a little bit more like intergenerational stuff, but I kind of feel like there's like
hear that all the time.
Little bit of, you know, I feel like there's a gap right now with like the younger kids and like even the like generation right before them, because like they're in their phone.
Yeah.
And it's not the same. Like they're not seeking it.
Right.
Yeah.
But as we were talking about upstairs, Madonna seems to have won back the younger generation. So maybe there's hope.
Get her a kit.
Listen, I love all these like Madonna won't leave me alone on Grindr things. I'm like,
oh my God.
So funny. I'm like, she will not leave you alone on Grindr.
I know. I don't mind it.
She wants you to buy her album.
Yes.
Limited edition Grindr vinyl.
I did order that one. Let's talk PrEP a little bit, because you've said a few things that I'm so curious about, because I am personally ignorant about PrEP on demand.
Yeah.
And the injectable PrEP.
Yeah. So like PrEP on demand is like a great gateway drug is what I'm going to call it.
Okay.
Right? So it's like for people that are like, I don't really want to go on PrEP. I don't want to do a daily pill. I don't want an injection. You can do something that's called 2-1-1 PrEP. And so you take 2 pills 2 to 24 hours before you have sex, which means like you have to kind of forecast that you're going to have sex, which I mean, like it's Pride. So maybe. So like you forecast it, you take your 2 pills of tenofovir emtricitabine, which is generic Truvada or Truvada. I mean, whatever works. And then you do the deed.
Right.
And then you take 1 pill a day and you keep taking that 1 pill a day for 2 days after your last sexual encounter.
Okay.
If you have
only Truvada or Descovy?
Truvada only.
Okay.
It's not Descovy. is not studied
Okay.
to be able to do it like Truvada has been. And then like there's a little bit of literature around if you're someone who has a cervix to extend it to 3 days after the last sex.
Okay.
So it is like,
And it's equally as effective?
so it is about 86 to 87% effective based on the studies. And so
Okay.
like oral PrEP is somewhere in the like low 90s.
Right.
The reason that PrEP on demand is probably less effective is not because of the drug. It's because of the schedule,
Right.
which is a teeny bit more complicated. So like, for instance, in the Callen-Lorde Party and Prevention pack,
Yes.
we have created a user's manual, English and Spanish. And the user's manual like goes over all the components of the kit and tells you how to use it.
Yeah.
And so like one of the things that happens is we check for allergies, and like the person who is like giving the kit, the medical human,
hmm
says you need to read this pamphlet in great detail so you know how everything works.
Right.
Do you have any questions?
Yeah.
They don't ever read it in front of you. The only thing that, anyway, but the point is like, it is like a strategy that works. And, like unapologetic prevention means taking a public health approach, right? So public health approaches cannot be perfect. Like if I were looking for perfection, I would just be rocking back and forth in my basement, going like, I'm never going to launch anything because it's not going to be perfect.
Right. Right.
So this is like, evidence-based, syndemic focused, and like, a great way for people to like take control of their own sexual and drug user health.
And then the injectable PrEP.
Yeah.
Is that more effective than pills?
Well, so
right now I take Descovy daily.
Yeah.
So do I.
So you're, it's in effect like nearly 100% if you're taking Descovy every day.
Yes.
Nearly. When you look at the studies of injectable PrEP,
Yes.
it is literally 100%.
Wow.
Because there's no doubt about you taking it, right? Is there?
Right. Okay.
It's in you, and it's in you.
Well
and
said.
It's in you.
So what's the schedule? How does it work?
Great. So there's like two right now, and I'm sure
I'm literally ignorant about all of this, so I'm actually asking these questions
that's
genuinely.
why you want a Dr. Daddy.
Yes.
So there's 2 drugs right now that are approved, and by the way, there's also long-acting injectable treatment for HIV, which we can also talk about.
Okay. Yeah.
Because remember, U equals U. If you're
Yeah. Of course.
So if so there's a drug called cabotegravir. It's I think Apretude is its brand name.
Yeah.
That one you take every couple of months.
And you go to a doctor, or is this like a GLP-1 and you're doing it yourself?
It is not there yet.
Okay.
So it is like a sizable injection.
Okay.
Which I mean shouldn't scare people, but it's not like little 0.5
Right.
milliliters. Oh, I'm good.
Right.
Like it's a little bit more involved than that.
So you're going to a doctor.
Going to a doctor, like it's just like normal PrEP. Like they do testing, they do all the things, and then you have an injection. A staff member, like usually a nurse, will provide the injection.
Right.
So that's cabotegravir or Apretude. And then the other one is called lenacapavir or Yeztugo, which is like a really hard name to say. Yeztugo. And it's like, that one is every 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
So, in effect, like you make someone nearly uninfectable with HIV because of these drugs. And so it's not a vaccine, but
Right.
boy, does it kind of act like it.
Wow.
You're not permanently immune. The thing about it though is that the drugs last in your system for a long, 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 long time. And so like I would talk to you on Descovy about don't miss many or any pills. This one, it's like, don't miss your injection visit.
Right.
Don't go too far past your injection visit or else
That's my concern, is that like doing a daily pill just feels like it's part of my routine.
totally. And like so it's like contraception.
Right.
Right. So like it used to be that there was a pill and then there was like a ring and then there was an injection, and each different thing speaks to a different person.
Yes.
So like, I'm easy for pills. Like I can take I'm good at that. Like my schedule is such that it would be harder for me to get an injection.
Right.
But there's other people who are like, I am a performer on a cruise ship and I'm going to be gone for 4 months.
Right.
And you're like, I'm not going to be able to bring all that PrEP with me. What do I do? Dun, da, da.
Right.
Like,
No, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
You're covered. And so I think it's really like the more options you give people, the more options they have. And you will recruit more and more humans into PrEP as more as things speak to them better. So like all the way on this side, PrEP on demand, where you're like, like I'm not really into it. Like, I don't want to do all this. Then you're like daily PrEP. And then like you're sort of more like, I just want to get out of this out of my brain, which I think is also like the story with injections for treatment. Like I'm never forgetting my first patient who was living with HIV who went on cabotegravir and rilpivirine, which is the drug for the injection. Cabenuva is what you've seen the ads on TV probably for all of these. And this person had HIV for a long time and had really bad like disease early on, and then was doing great on meds. But like just every time he had to see that pill, it just made him sad. And so now he's just like, one injection every 2 months. Bye.
Wow.
It's more options.
Yeah.
There's other stuff coming.
Yeah.
I most said that I can say whatever I want here. There's other shit coming.
Yeah.
Like the pipeline is crazy. Like there's pills that are coming that you can take once a month.
Yeah.
For PrEP.
Wow.
Like you'll just be like,
right.
And then you're, really high coverage. There's like, conversations about implants. Remember, like for contraception, there's that.
Yeah.
So there's conversations about there being implants for PrEP and treatment.
Whoa.
So you could be like,
I would, and then feel it on their tricep.
Oh.
I love that. This is to like the big pharma of it all.
Yeah.
It
is a lot of big pharma.
A negative attitude towards large medicine for very obvious reasons.
Yeah.
And I sometimes wonder, because we were a population that was just ignored when the HIV crisis began and continued, like, is the medicine and money of it all? It's like, I'm guessing it's worthwhile to these companies financially to actually address us as a population.
Yes.
Right.
There's no way around it. Like if you have, like the healthcare. Okay. Rewind. The answer to all of our healthcare problems in the United States is to have universal healthcare. Let's start with the fundamentals.
Say it again.
The way to fix the problems in the United States for healthcare and public health is to have universal healthcare. I'm going to take you on a little voyage. There are 33 high-income countries in the world considered high income. It changes. Let's play a game. How many of those have something that approximates universal healthcare?
32.
Correct.
32 of them.
And 32 of them have something that approximates universal healthcare. So when you hear certain raspy-voiced secretaries of health saying that we are like a peer nation with Japan and Denmark and all these places, you need to say that is a lot of bullshit.
Right.
Because they have universal healthcare. And like, why does it matter? Like, as a public health official, I spent all of your tax dollars and all of my energy and staff on trying to figure out how the hell to get people access to care. And I wasn't able to focus on stigma and education as much because all we do is like, how do I get access? So we like get spit and spackle, make these safety nets, which I'm at one. Callen-Lorde is a safety net.
Right.
We create these safety nets to try to like prevent people from falling through the gaps that are purposefully part of our system.
Right.
These gaps are not an accident, right? Not an accident. Like, who is in the gap? You're not in the gap. I'm not in the gap. The people I'm going to go see in the Bronx later, they're in the gap.
Right.
So if you address that, if you take access off the table, resources can actually then be spent on like stigma and education and the other things. And like, the reason drugs are so expensive and the reason the care is so expensive is because of the fact that we don't have a universal healthcare system. Like, you fix that and like all of a sudden you'll go, wow, everything is better. It is a little pie in the sky in the United States because there's so many corporate forces, insurance, pharma, et cetera, that push against it. And let's not pretend. And doctors that push against it. Historically, like when you look at it, like Truman was the first president to try to sort of implement universal healthcare, and he was called a socialist, and then it stopped, right? Then you have like Clinton, the big S word came out again, socialist, and stopped. And you have Obama, and you've got like something that, it was the closest that you could get in that era. But like, we just need to not stop and be like, I'm sorry, this is like a bunch of garbage. Like this, we need like a universalized system because we are like approximating a middle income country. And there are parts of the country where I would say we're like, if you're in rural America, you may as well be somewhere in Central Africa. So, I mean,
no,
that is the deal.
Yeah.
So like, I would love to blame pharma. I blame us because like we have created an environment where it needs to be like that, right? It's not, they're just reacting to the pressure. And so I think if there was like a move in the US, if someone just like put their big boy or big girl pants on and said like, we got to reboot the system to fix this. And like, I don't care if I'm going to get like, attacked by all these sort of, economic forces. Like you would just see, I mean, can you imagine if we didn't have to have like Ryan White?
I can't.
What is Ryan White? What is that? Ryan White is, our system sucks. We don't have access to care. And people living with HIV were dying. So just like a little this is like, I'm sorry for the bummer. But like the retrospectoscope is like, everyone like cheers about like HIV medicines coming out in the 90s, right? We all,
of course,
remember. And everyone was like, oh my God, it's like a Lazarus effect, right? Like people were rising from the dead. Lazarus, cisgender white man.
Right.
Period.
Right.
And so like Ryan White responded to that to sort of create access where access wasn't there. And it's like one of the most successful equity interventions that we've got. Why do we need it? No universal care.
Right.
It's all flows from the same thing.
The thing that I'll drop really quickly, and that is just that my parents, this is about the lack of universal healthcare and people's attitudes toward it. My parents are MAGA, hardcore. My dad definitely received life-saving and end-of-life care under Medicare.
Right.
And they still are like, if you can't get a job that offers health insurance, that's your fault. That's your moral failing.
Listen, history time. When our insurance universe evolved, like other countries started with universal care, we started with employer-based insurance programs. This is all we know because that's how it started.
I actually have a fun fact as to why. You probably know. I worked in this space. During World War II, the American economy was booming, but there was no one to do the work. It was booming because of all the things we needed to make to be at war.
Right.
And no one to do the work because everyone was at the war.
Sure.
Right. So the government passed legislation to basically prevent wartime inflation and said that all of these employers who were in desperate need of employees could not compete on cash wages. They could not raise salaries in order to attract more workers.
Okay.
However, there was a workaround, a loophole. They could offer tax-free benefits, specifically health insurance. So that is the exact moment that health insurance gets tied to employers in this universe where everyone else in the developed world at that time is moving to a universal government-sponsored system. What really cements it is that after the war and into the 50s, the government then creates incentives for businesses to keep doing this. And that is the exact moment that health insurance gets tied to employers until even now.
So that's great. And that's right. That's my understanding as well. So, that's where we land, where you have this like great technology, right? Moving forward, really cool stuff. And then it sits on the shelf for the people who are the most in need of that technology because of the way that the system works. And like, it's just, like I said, someone's got to put their big boy or big girl pants on and say like, F that, time to reboot. And and whoever does it, like, better have their steel jockstrap on because they're going to get their balls kicked.
Yeah.
or whatever genitalia they have.
I know what I said before, but I think let's take a break now.
Yeah.
And we'll come back and ask Dr. Daddy about his daddy issue. And then we've got other listener questions for him too.
Incredible.
Amazing.
Meet Keith, loving dad, board game champ, bus driving pro.
I drive 65,000 miles in my bus each year. If people knew what I know, lives could be saved. Like how there are some things I simply can't see. On my route the other day, a car tried to sneak past me and ends up right in my blind spot. I turned slowly, so I accident avoided. But no car should be in the blind spot for a 40,000-pound bus. It's our roads. It's our safety.
Visit www.sharetheroadsafely.gov.
Hey, listeners, welcome back to Dads and Daddies, the podcast. We're here with Dr. Daddy, Demetre Daskalakis. We have a question for you. What this time is your daddy issue?
So my daddy issue is a conjuring of a mommy.
You can't see this because we're not a video platform, but we're getting pointed at.
So I'm going to conjure one of the namesakes of Callen-Lorde and Audre Lorde. And my daddy issue is that self-care is political warfare. And so our self-care as people, as LGBT people, as like gay men, like queer women, queer people, like people don't want us to take care of ourselves. And by taking care of ourselves, it is the highest order of rebellion. And so that's my daddy issue. My daddy issue is self-care.
Taking care of ourselves is the highest order of rebellion. Yeah.
Sure is.
Gorgeous.
So what does self-care look like for you?
Yeah. I mean, good question. Self-care for me is like some no screen time.
Mm-hmm.
That's very important.
Yes.
I have never used my do not disturb button until I quit CDC because it was just so insane. I was like, I don't care. And then the other part for me is like, and it's so silly. The thing that makes me like feel okay is if I can like carve an hour in my day to just go to the gym. And I know that sounds like whatever, but like I put on Love Sensation by Madonna.
Yes.
And I walk around the gym and I lift my weights and I do my cardio. And then, I feel so free. Like all that stuff happens. And I'm just like, it's not really like just, narcissistic. I need to like, stay in shape. Like it's full mental health. And like, I realize whenever I like get into this zone of either travel or whatever, where I can't do it, that like, I just start to get crusty and grumpy. And it's like that, so that for me is my self-care. And, I feel like the other part is, and I've not found that balance yet here, is in New York again, is like connecting with friends. Mm-hmm. I'm still in this like frenzy of like moving here. And then like, I'm like a drag queen on Halloween in terms of where I have to go. So like in all these cities and all these places and all these things. And so that is like stabilizing a bit, but like, I need to connect with my people, which I haven't really effectively done very well yet.
Right. Yes.
I think missing any one of those things can create some friction for sure. Yeah. Like up here. I love how you framed the gym. It is very easy, I think these days, especially with social media, to criticize how we frame the gay male body specifically. And at the same time, what I don't want to happen is for people to miss out on the community of it all, of the mental health of it all, the break of your day of it all, just because of the rejection of the aesthetic, which I do too. But I love the gym because it proves to me, I belong to a hot yoga studio. It proves to me that I can do hard things. And it's one of the only times in my day, the real only other time is when I'm like laying next to my husband in my bed reading a book. But it's the only time in my day where I'm just not constantly cycling through a to-do list. And I'm pretty kind to myself, but the to-do list is like miles long. I love your take on the gym.
Yeah, it's meditation.
Yeah.
I mean, also like I this is really like, so I haven't done this yet here. Like when I was in Atlanta, I used to have a trainer, and it was like it was like definitely something that was a luxury, but like I didn't bring my phone with me because I had to pay attention to my trainer. So it was like, that phone is going to be, in the locker for an hour. I don't care. Like that thing is going to be that crazy that I can't check it in an hour. And so like, so I mean, I haven't done that yet here, but I've been pretty good at myself just to be like, that can stay in the locker and I'll do my thing or put it on don't disturb and don't look at it. But yeah, I think it's just mental health because it's like your time. And in New York, like your time is like sucked up in so many interesting ways by just living.
Yes. And it's exhausting.
Yeah. But there's like a tax to live here, not monetary. But
no.
Like it's, like the subway takes time and, waiting in a line takes time. And it's a little bit different. Yeah. I mean, in Atlanta, what took time was that everyone was like really slow and really sweet, and they made you crazy.
I had that. If you're a New Yorker, it makes you crazy. Yeah,
I had that experience in another southern city in Nashville. I was just like, hurry the fuck!
Yeah,
this folksy check-in bullshit.
Oh my God! Look at you! I love your beard. Look at those nails. Like, right, it's all
coffee now.
The Starbucks line is like the number one moment where you're like, there's something wrong.
Right.
When you're not in New York, where you're like in New York, they pretty much like see you and throw coffee at you.
Yeah.
And in Atlanta, they're like,
oh, Jesus.
It's all a whole extravaganza.
Well, so this leads me to, I think, your question. We have questions from listeners, but you had a question. Where, as people of a certain age, I'm 52, 43.
52.
You're also 52?
Yeah. When's your birthday?
December 13th.
So that means I am older than you. I'm on October 7th.
Oh, yeah. Okay. By a couple months. How do you maintain your energy? I am exhausted all the time.
Yeah.
Same.
I mean, like,
same.
Seemingly, others have recognized that I'm pretty high energy.
Yes.
And I don't know, like, this is just how I am.
Okay.
But I mean, like, do I drink coffee? Yes. But I mean, like, also, like, I just don't know any other way.
Right.
Like, so that's why, like, the question about self-care, like, why that's important, because, like, I mean, I'll tell you, my husband, Michael, he's amazing. He's like, listen, you need to have, like, something that's not scheduled.
Right.
You need to have some time because, like, he knows that I can, like a comet, and I just, like, keep boring through, and then, like, I just end up, not necessarily living life,
right?
Because I'm just boring through. And so, I've always been, like, pretty high energy. Caffeine is not a bad thing,
right?
But I mean, off caffeine, I'm the same. Like, I just, it's the same.
I mean, I do find I am more productive and more efficient the busier that I am.
100%.
Yeah.
And I was also thinking too, because we've talked about this before. I do have more. Here's the irony. When you pursue, for us, a creative project, when your life is already busy, it's like, how the fuck am I going to have the time and the energy for this project? And what you realize is you've just overinvested in other things. So you divert the energy. Like, having this podcast actually gives me more energy back for my day job because I'm not over-indexed on my day job. I'm like, here's the perfect amount. My point in sharing all of that is to say, because, I mean, I've heard the way you speak about what you do. I've talked to you about what you do, and it seems like you fucking love it.
Right. I cannot identify a job that I've had in my career where it hasn't felt more like I'm playing than I'm working.
That's incredible.
That's so awesome.
Right. Like, I from the beginning days of, being like a trainee, like, everyone was like, oh, med school's really hard. I hate it. I'm like, I loved it. I thought it was like someone giving me the keys to the kingdom to understand how all that stuff works and, like, all of that. And I was a resident, same thing. Like, when I was, like, sneaking onto the AIDS ward at Bellevue in the 90s to, like, meet people and, like, understand about HIV medicine, I was like, I have, like, this is a privilege and an honor. And so I never, like, the stuff that gets me annoyed is, like, selling my apartment in Atlanta.
Right.
That's work. But like the stuff that I know how to do, like the stuff that's like, you know, my normal job, like I actually just feel like it's like playing all the time. All the time.
Not my experience. Grateful that you have that.
Yes.
I think you're probably if you talk to working adults, probably the minority, I'm guessing.
Yeah. But that for me is what this podcast now fulfills.
Right.
Which is great.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, and it's great. Like it's but it's so fun. I learn something new every time.
You're so sweet.
That's true.
Where does sex fall into your life? Do you make time for that?
I mean, yeah. I mean, for sure. I mean, like I'm I am a red-blooded gay man. And so like, definitely sex is important. I feel like that's like part of the, you know, the husband story of being like, you know, don't just work all the time.
Right.
Let's, you know, go out, have fun, do something.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it fits in. I mean, like you know, it would be like sad if it didn't really.
Right.
But yeah, it's just like another.
And hey, you only need 20 minutes.
You only need 20 minutes. And what we spoke of though last time we spoke to you was sort of the balance in having, let's call it high profile position within the queer community and being able to meet people to fuck. Right? Like one presents a challenge for the other and vice versa. Has it changed at all since you've been back in New York?
No, it's worse.
It's worse. Okay.
Like, it's totally worse. Like it's, you know, it's worse because like it's just it's like a completely different situation. My job is like completely different.
Yeah.
And like it's, you know, the challenge of being the premier LGBTQ provider of healthcare in New York is that we are in fact the premier provider of healthcare
Right.
LGBTQ people. So it just means like a different like profile and a different like sort of, you know, a different boundary.
Mm-hmm.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Any new tattoos since we last saw you?
No.
Okay.
But I'm back in New York and I'm near my favorite tattoo artist.
Okay. So it won't be long.
Back in the New York groove.
Where do you have space at this point?
My back is completely like
it's
totally open and I have like a plan for back there.
Okay.
But I mean, also like I have all of the sort of space between tattoos.
Okay. Will you do neck?
That's like a Michael thing. That's a husband thing. Like I kind of like don't need a neck tattoo.
Right.
Because I also feel like that's like part of the mystique.
Right.
Like where, you know, I'll be in a meeting and like I'll pull up my shirt and they're all like, oh my God.
Right.
I'll have like, Callen-Lorde is like completely different, right? Like I came in with a short sleeve shirt and like literally it was like a series of like high fives going like, yes. And it's like, got it.
Right.
Yeah.
Versus like
good
walking into like, you know, a senator's office in and then like, oh, like it says daddy here.
Right.
Like, it says daddy.
And then one last thing I want to ask before we get to our listener questions.
Yeah.
Because you passed over it very quickly in our previous segment.
Yeah.
Can you talk about U equals U?
Sure. So, you know, I never think of HIV medicine partitioned between prevention and treatment.
Mm-hmm.
Like I actually think of them as like sort of one thing.
Right.
Because like I don't think of the people who are living with HIV and those who could benefit from PrEP as any different, right? It's the same people who could benefit from PrEP are the people who may have gotten HIV and who could benefit from treatment. So like PrEP prevents acquisition of HIV so you don't get it.
Right.
And treatment, when your viral load is undetectable, which means when the amount of virus in the blood is less than what the lab can find, studies have shown, this is not just Demetre making it up, that there is like zero possibility of transmitting HIV sexually. So, one of the best side effects of HIV medicine, which is not really a side effect, is that you don't transmit.
Yeah.
And so, it's people living with HIV have always been beautiful and sexy. But like this makes sort of affords an even higher level of confidence.
Yeah.
That there's nothing like sort of weird about having HIV.
Right.
And that you're, able to do what you want to do sexually. And you should do that with very little concern.
I just think it's so important to shout that from the rooftops and to repeat it because I feel like I continue to meet people who have a hard time wrapping their heads around that.
It would take 356 years of continuous receptive anal sex before one person would seroconvert if with someone living with HIV.
Wow.
So there's a whole universe of folks who would love
Let's
to
get
have
started.
Let's start.
We got some
360 continuous years of anal sex, but it seems as if when you wrap your brain around it, that's not something that's going to happen.
Right.
And so U equals U.
Yeah.
if a person with HIV is undetectable through what you say, the lab test, what is the test then that shows they are a person with HIV? Does that make sense?
Yes.
Like, how do you retro?
Amazing. So there's a couple different kinds of HIV tests, right? So the viral load test looks for virus. And so when you are undetectable, it means that we cannot detect the virus. Your body's response to that virus is called an antibody. Antibodies do not go away. So if you have HIV, your antibody test stays positive. And so think about it sometimes when you get the measles, mumps, rubella vaccine, and you have a new job, they require you to show that you have immunity. They check your antibody. You don't have measles, but you've been exposed either to measles or to the vaccine. HIV is the same. So there's testing that you can do that tells you, living with HIV, not living with HIV. And then you look for the virus to say detectable or undetectable.
So when I go into my doctor's office and I do my PrEP and my STI labs, which HIV tests am I getting?
So fascinating. The answer may be both. It depends on sort of how closely they're adhering to guidelines. There's also a more recent HIV test out there that is called a antibody antigen test. So it both looks for the antibody as well as evidence of the virus. And so most people, or it's called fourth generation because it's keeps getting more advanced. So most people are using this fourth generation test that looks for antibody as well as for evidence of the virus. Mainly because it finds people in the earliest stages of infection before the antibody turns positive.
I see.
So it's so there's a lot of different testing, but the bottom line is that usually if you're on PrEP, depending on the story and depending on what PrEP, you're at least getting an antibody test, sometimes also getting a viral load. The guidelines are all over the place with it. So it's a little confusing.
It's really helpful to know. It's not going to really change the way that I advocate for myself necessarily or my testing schedule. But that's background that I think is really interesting.
Yeah,
helpful.
agreed. Those are good questions. We got some good questions from listeners who've been waiting for Dr. Daddy to return.
Dr. Daddy, we have questions for you. And since you are an actual doctor, you can't sue us. Shall I?
Go ahead.
I'm a listener in my 40s with a question that has made me a bit stumped, and I'm hoping Dr. Daskalakis can shed some light on it. Since my early life, I've never had any issues with swallowing, even on days when I have been very active and swallowed 10 plus loads in a day. However, in my 40s, I've experienced a sudden change where I'm having a noticeable GI reaction, essentially a diuretic or laxative-like effect. When it happens, it starts with lower bowel cramping anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour after swallowing. That's followed by a sudden, complete evacuation and then 3 to 4 subsequent movements that are entirely liquid. The whole process can last anywhere from 10 to 15 minutes on the toilet. The strange part is that it's inconsistent. It doesn't happen every time. Sometimes just a single load can trigger it, while other times I experience no reaction at all with many loads. I've reached a point where I can definitely isolate semen as the cause, but I can't predict when the reaction will strike. I have no history of IBS, food allergies, or other sensitivities. I've started researching this online, but haven't found much substantial data or formal studies. I did come across one article claiming that semen can have a diuretic effect for some people, but it was pretty vague. My questions are, is it common for a GI sensitivity like this to develop suddenly later in life? Could this be related to the cumulative amount I've swallowed over the years, or is it more likely a change in my own body's chemistry? Are you familiar with other men having reported the same issue? Also, curious if Brian or Judson have ever heard or experienced anything similar.
It should be signed loads of fun.
Signed loads of fun.
I guess I can start. So, I'll say this is, I think that, GI upset after like sort of gay sex of one variety or another is like fairly common. One of the questions that I would ask back is, along with, swallowing loads, have you changed anything else about like the sexual environment? Like, some people, as an example, like, as you get older, may use like drugs that sort of allow you to stay erect. Sometimes those have some pretty delicious GI side effects. So are you using something that's different in your sexual ritual that may potentially create that issue? Like, also, like, though it's, there will not be a lot of studies that I have ever seen about this, and I just don't think that it's like something that's been studied consistently. Like, is there like something that is in effect like a low-grade allergy to some people's semen? Possibly. Like it happens in other settings. Like there are folks who have like immune responses to semen, and that's like one of the reasons, like, one of the tests that you use in like in a person who's trying to become pregnant who can't is like some of the anti-sperm antibodies. Like it is possible to generate some like autoimmunity or some kind of immune response to semen, and it could be variable person to person. And so I can't say that's what's happening, but my gut on this is that it's either going to be something about like, not net amount of exposure, but just like exposure enough where you've been sensitized to some of the proteins in some people's semen, totally possible. Or that there's something else in your sexual ritual, whether it's like a new drug you use or like some other substance. Like, and that doesn't mean like drug necessarily like but things like, erectile enhancers and all that kind of stuff that could also potentially do this. I think the other question
that we have here is,
a lot of
could this be related to a cumulative amount of consumed?
So, I don't think that that's how it works, but I do think that like, the more, if you're exposed to a lot of different people's like antigens, if you're exposed to a lot of different people's proteins, like there may be some proteins that you develop like some kind of hypersensitivity to. So kind of no, but kind of yes, because if you've maybe been exposed to a lot of people's different proteins, like maybe that could have created more of a hypersensitivity. I am literally hand waving, but like these are the sort of mechanistic things, like the mechanisms I could imagine that could explain this. The answer is always like, especially on a podcast, it's like really good to talk to your doctor about this, just to make sure that there's not something else going on. So I think it's like, there's a lot of like hand waving and theories, but then also like good to talk to your physician or your medical provider in case like maybe this is your first sort of round of IBS. Maybe it's like that is like some kind of stress and trigger that causes this. And so it's really good to sort of think about having a conversation not on this podcast, but also with your clinician.
That's super helpful, especially because that there isn't a cumulative effect is such a relief for all of us. Like, can you imagine a load you swallowed at 19 is still giving you diarrhea?
And to that end, the question for you and me, no, I'm not familiar with a comparable situation. I personally do not have a taste for cum.
I love to eat a load.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But listen, everything else bothers my stomach, but that's because I have Eastern European Jewish ancestors. So.
You mean like any little stressful event means, oh no. Yeah, high five.
Yeah,
got
right?
that too.
Yeah.
I'm so grateful this listener submitted this question, and I made the joke between the three of us before the show, like when he says he doesn't have IBS, I'm like, are you even gay? Are you even like, I don't know any gay man that does not have gut trouble.
Right. All right. You want to read the next question?
I would love to. I'm not having any sex with my husband. 11 years at the end of the month, and we haven't had any sex since year 3. He has ADHD and has stated it's very overstimulating and finds the whole experience unpleasant. So when you guys say that there will always be more sex, I'm kind of like, when? When is that going to happen?
That is such a complicated circumstance.
Yes.
Right? Because, I think first, this is an important conversation that your husband needs to have with whoever is helping them manage their ADHD, right? So like embedded in that is like, if he's not able to sort of live that part of his life the way that he wants to live, that means that there's more work that needs to be done to optimize like his circumstance. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like, so we're not at it may feel like your attention's okay, but it like that is sort of going on. I think there's more to be discussed. I think the other part is like, this is like where it may be worthwhile to think about, like, this is like a great sex therapy moment.
Yes.
Because like that is like such a hard nut to crack, that you're like overstimulating someone, where overstimulation can cause like, a really significant amount of distress. Like we've all, I do not have ADHD, but I have a lot of friends who do, and you can see like what happens when they start to get sort of in that zone. And so I think that's like a really, really hard one. I think the other part is you can try to figure it out on your own, but this is like where I think a professional, like a sex therapist professional, is important. Because I mean, I could come up with all sorts of ideas about like, how like having conversations about like, what is the edge to which we can get where I'm not overstimulating you, and then like we can stop. And then like, then you can, if you're like, not feeling like you're resolved because you've gotten to that edge, but then you haven't gotten like what you need out of it, you haven't had that release, then like you may have to sort of, chance that on your own. The other part is like, I think good conversation with a doctor or a sex therapist, but like, this is sort of where frank discussions about needs need to happen, right? Like, so it's like, you can't, like, I love everything about you, but you can't give me this part. And so like, we need to have the understanding that I can pursue this part, in another setting.
Right.
Like, and then you can have ground rules, all of that stuff, to figure it out.
Yeah.
But I feel like, bottom line is we are not optimized from our ADHD perspective if this is like what's going on.
Right. I think that's a really interesting point, that even if the attention feels resolved, if you're getting overstimulated in sex, then you haven't fully addressed your ADHD.
If that's a priority.
Right. If that's a priority.
It always goes back to like, maybe the human asking the question, has sex as a high priority? Like, does his husband have sex as a high priority?
Right.
And so if the answer is there's disconnect, then,
well, that's where it comes back to our favorite 3 words: open, honest, direct. And yes.
Open, honest, direct.
Yeah. Listen, that's why we're here, is to have these conversations and hopefully make it feel easier for others, because some people have just a very difficult time talking about these things.
Yeah,
but
totally.
we were just talking in the earlier segment before you joined us, that I was doing some research and found out that Joel Schumacher, the movie director of like Lost Boys and Batman Forever and Batman and Robin, described himself 7 years ago at the age of, if he would have been 86 now, so like 79, as extremely promiscuous, and like talked about how he had sex with between 10,000 and 20,000 men in his lifetime. And just like, I want us all to be that free and open talking about sex.
If he doesn't have GI distress, then I would be stunned.
That gut is not sterling, I can assure you. And I also, what's so interesting too, Brian, hearing that number for the second time, somewhere between 10,000 and 20,000, that the range is 10,000 is so incredible, especially because like I've looked this up before, like Gemini, like how many people does the average person have sex with in a lifetime? And it's like very low if you're not a gay man. It's
I know.
It's like 7.
Yeah, like you feel like,
oh my God,
you just feel like when you
7 last week.
It's like literally you're like the Whore of Babylon. Like the second you're like, oh yeah, the average is 4. You're like, 4 what?
4 15.
4 per
100.
week. Yeah.
It's like I'm like, that is like, it is, and like, it is a cultural difference.
Yeah.
It's truly cultural because, the biological imperative is for us to be spreading our seed far and wide. It is how this many of us got here.
Yeah. All right. We have one more that is not a voice memo. Then we'll take a break and come back with our last one, which is...
I am a 57-year-old man. I'm married and we opened up a couple years ago. Recently, my libido has dropped. I used to be ready to roll all the time. Do you have any suggestions?
Always will start with very important to talk to your doctor, your clinician, because so I have plenty of suggestions. And the first is, I'm 52.
Yeah.
Like, and this is the time when things start to like change in your sort of, hormones and sexual like ability and libido and all that good stuff. And so the first thing to do is rule out a medical cause. Like that is like the number one thing. Like, is my, and it's not all the stuff that you think. Like, is there like vascular disease? Like, is there like something wrong with my blood vessels that is making this happen? Is this like a purely like brain libido thing? Like, what's going on? Like, why is this happening? Is it like because we opened up a couple of years ago and then this happened? That like, is there a connection there? Like, is your thyroid okay? Is your testosterone level okay? All of those things. And then like after that's sort of through, like there's like a couple things, right? Like better living through chemistry. Like there's ways to make this happen. You can awaken the beast, like by talking to your clinician to make sure that you have what you need to make your dick hard and to maybe also stimulate some of the thought process, right? That's all part of the deal. And so rule out medical causes, think about like, and talk about like, when did this really start? And like, is there a brain thing that happened that made this happen? Because very often when you sort of find like the penis isn't working, I know that this is a shocking thing to say. The penis is connected to your brain.
Yeah.
Like it's shocker.
Yeah.
Sometimes it seems like it's not, but like it is absolutely connected to your brain. And like even the ambient, like whatever it is, whether it's like, I have anxiety because I'm 52 years old and I'm, I don't look like all of the people on Instagram. Like, okay. Like maybe that's part of it. Like there's so many reasons to pursue.
Right.
And then like the answer is like, there's ways that, medically you can be helped to make sure that you get over it.
Now, we all know, obviously, the drugs you're referring to when you're talking about getting your penis hard, but when you talked about like stimulating the libido in your brain, are those the same drugs or are you talking about something different?
There's like sort of combo meds that also like sort of increase libido a bit, as well as like sort of just mechanically making your penis erect.
Right.
Because the thing is like, I think, there's that thing, it's really complex to have like a hard on and not care.
Right.
Like, right. I think I think we've all, I'm just going to say, I think we've all seen or experienced it ourselves. We're kind of like, well, I'm over it.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. Both sides.
Totally.
Both sides.
Totally.
And the sides of the side. Yeah.
And so it's just a question of, so like the most important thing is like, make sure there's not something medical that is like a big deal, or B, something that's just like an easy peasy quick fix.
Right.
Like, like 57-year-olds, they have high blood pressure. Did you start an antihypertensive? Like there's all these things that happen as you like sort of like pile on some chronic medical conditions that could affect like your libido as well as your actual like physical function.
Yeah. And on the totally homeopathic route, we just like you were talking about self-care earlier, I think just I'm always hornier when I'm in a happy state.
Yeah.
And I mean, I know that also may sound simple and silly, and our listener might be rolling their eyes at this answer, but I think finding the things in your life that make you happy also then affect your confidence level. And all of that, I think, feeds into feeling sexier and hornier. And
yeah, I mean, I think you have to feel sexy to have sex.
Right.
Like it's just part of it. It helps. And it doesn't mean that you have to be like some,
anybody
whatever.
can feel sexy. I think it's a matter of
anybody can feel
100%.
sexy.
Yes.
Anybody can feel
and like,
sexy.
it sort of emanates from, that becomes very attractive.
Yes. We talk about that all the time. That like confidence is sexy. And so, finding confidence can be a challenge, but I think starting with making yourself happy by just doing things that make you happy, if it's whatever it is.
Right. I mean, I don't work for CDC anymore, so I can be like, if you can't get hard to have to insert your penis into someone, can you make this about your pleasure and giving someone pleasure too?
Right.
You build it up. You sort of get to the place where you're well, I will give that human the best blowjob of their life.
Yeah. And
Mhm.
I mean, I've been in that situation plenty where I'm not hard at first these days, now that I'm 52. But by the time I've got their dick in my mouth, I get hard real quick after that.
Right. So it's kind of like experimenting, because everything is you're not the same person you were when you were 18. And that's actually a joyous thing, not a bad thing.
Thank God.
Right? I'm a much better 52-year-old than I was an 18.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So much better.
And I'm having the best sex of my life now.
What I will add to having experienced this is just saying, in the meantime, while we talk to our doctor, just be really gentle with yourself.
Yes, always.
I always treat arousal as I treat other needs, like hunger, thirst, sleep, whatever. I'm like, if I'm horny, I might do something about it. And if I'm not horny, that's okay. And for me, it was for a combination of reasons, partly medical. And it was just nice to learn not to be so mad or embarrassed or feel like I wasn't quote unquote man enough because I wasn't fucking wanting to fuck all the time. That ultimately then helps get into a positive groove because you're not shaming or yelling at you.
The one thing I'm realizing may be unspoken in this question is, if they opened a couple years ago, wait, am I conflating questions?
No. This is correct.
Okay.
I married and we opened a couple years ago. Yeah.
If they opened a couple years ago, I wonder if there's a sense that, my husband has libido and is hooking up all the time, and I'm not hooking up nearly as much as my husband.
So, I mean, there's always competition in this space, which is not good. But I think that you're always looking at the other. It's like real estate in New York. Did I make the right decision?
There's a lot of opportunity cost.
That person is doing this and I'm doing this. Did I make the right decision?
Right.
But I do think that there's at least, it's not explicitly said, but I think that your point is really good, that it's the only person that you should be comparing yourself to is you today.
Right.
And so not even my partner or this guy over here who's having loads of sex. It's am I happy with the sexuality that I am secreting here?
And I think I truly do love few things more than compersion. I love hearing about my husband's hookups. And I love knowing that he's hooking up, and knowing that makes me horny. So, I mean, I don't know what level of communication you're at about the open relationship. It's so new, but maybe if this is a situation where your husband is hooking up more, maybe hearing about them might turn you on. But also, even if it doesn't, just if they make you happy, then try just to really revel in that and be happy for him. And you don't have to be making the same numbers.
And stop counting.
Stop counting. We all count.
Except if you're approaching 10,000.
Yeah.
You should probably start counting.
Yeah.
Just
so you can throw a party.
Just for the party.
Yeah, just for the party.
For the we have hit 11,000.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I would say once you get to I'm going to use sobriety rules. Once I got to 90, I stopped. I keep showing up and I stay sober, but I don't know the technical count of it all. I wouldn't even, I've guessed 2, and the range is crazy. It's not anything like 10,000, but you're right. Quality over quantity.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, I know I don't know. I can't count. I mean, I've lived in New York since 1991. And I was 17 when I moved here.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you have gut issues, is what you're saying.
if you're I walk so if you walk into a room and everyone's having sex and you have sex, have you had sex with everyone in that room?
Well, according to infection exposure charts.
I don't know. What am I supposed to say?
Like, I don't know the answer.
Oh, okay.
But I mean, like, I don't even know how to count.
Right.
That is the best response. Like, what are we even counting? Because my husband will be like, does fucking count if blowjobs count?
Right.
Does sticking your... I'll just say it. There was one time on the PATH train.
One time on the PATH train.
One time on the PATH train, it was rush hour, and this guy nuzzled his face directly into my crotch.
Like from sitting.
He's sitting. I'm a strap hanger, and he just pushed his face. So I pushed back, right? Or is that what the posters say not to do?
It's kind of like the poster about the backpack. Like, take your backpack off, make room. It's like, don't shove your crotch in their face.
He started it.
I know it's a song. But does that count?
Does that count?
I don't count that.
Do you count them?
To me, especially because it happened on a crowded train during rush hour, like, I count it twice.
And,
I mean, it counts as something.
See?
It counts as something.
I just don't know how to. The
yeah, what do we file? What do we file that under?
I think harassment. But all right, we're gonna take one more break and then come back with one last. Go ask your dad for Dr. Daddy.
See you in a minute. Hey, listeners, welcome back to Dads and Daddies, the podcast. We're here with Dr. Daddy, Demetre Daskalakis. We have one more question for you, and it is a voice memo.
Hey, Dads and Daddies. I'm a 44-year-old man, and lately I've been experiencing some issues that I would like your opinion on. I am on SSRIs, as well as other anxiety medication, and I don't always finish. This seems to bother a lot of the bottoms that I'm with because they want to be bred. Do I tell them up front that this may not happen and risk losing the hookup? Or do I keep it to myself and hope for the best? It's kind of like Russian roulette. You never know what's going to happen. Thanks.
So there's the medical side of this question and then the larger, like, cultural and communication part of the question. But do you want to address it?
Sure.
Well, you can address all of it, but yeah,
I'll start. I mean, so, SSRIs and other psychiatric medicine, mental health medicines can do all sorts of interesting things to people's ability to come.
Yeah.
I mean, it can be as straightforward as, like, it suppresses your ability to orgasm. It can be more complex where you actually have what's called retrograde ejaculation, where it, like, actually goes into your bladder instead of going out. And it's an interesting sort of phenomenon that is definitely one of those talk to your doctor moments. I know that is my theme because, like, there are other technologies that you can use for depression and anxiety. And if this is like a thing that is, like, potentially causing more anxiety in your life, then you need to reevaluate whether the medicines are, like, the exact right regimen for you. Like, if you didn't care, like, whatever,
right.
Like, you've asked, there's a question coming in on a voice memo, and it seems as if, like, you're worried that you're going to lose the sort of excitement of the bottom who wants to be bred. And if that's, like, something that is, interfering with your, like, ability to enjoy sex and it's anxiety provoking, then, like,
it's a counter purposes.
Talk about the meds.
Yeah.
And so, like, but the answer is not always perfect.
Right.
Because the thing is, like, you may need a certain level of medication to be able to sort of, be good. But I think it is a conversation. And I know it's, like, a little awkward, but let me, tell you that, this is a very, very well-known side effect of these drugs. No one's going to, like, most clinicians aren't going to go, oh, I've never heard such a thing. I'm so shocked. Like, they'll be like, literally, they'll go like, sometimes after you have sex and you pee, do you see cum in your pee? Like, it's so part of what happens.
What's your situation these days? Because you recently changed, right? From an SSRI?
I did. And I love the advocacy of just reconsider your meds from time to time. Like, you should always be having the conversation about if they are still working, if that dose is still working. I recently switched from an SSRI, which 2 different ones that I was on for a grand total of, like, over 10 years. to a mood stabilizer, which is more targeted for bipolar 2 depression, which is what I live with. And the effect that it has had on my sex drive has been amazing. It's not that it has enhanced my sex drive. It's just that it has taken away the hindrance from before. I feel like I'm at like a quote unquote normal for me level of horny, which feels really, really good. But on an SSRI, like I was like a Ken doll. Like I just didn't feel my dick for like weeks at a time.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like, and that I think it goes back to like many of these things are not just in your head, but also medical.
Yeah.
And so, one of the things that you learn in HIV medicine is like, you don't leave good enough alone. Like, there's always, if there's something new, that's something different, you always like, even if someone is like, perfect, you always like sort of have to assess, like, do we still change what's good enough into something that may be better? Same with mental health meds. And the thing is like, again, it's like, what do you value? Right? Like the person who sent this, like, he wants to come.
Right.
This is a value.
Yeah.
And so like everything has a trade-off. And so it's like, do you maybe have to tinker with your meds a little bit with your doctor? Do you have to have like maybe a couple difficult conversations? Like, or like not really difficult. Like most clinicians should be, good, but like, and if they're not good, my favorite thing to say, find another one.
Right.
Because like, that's not a relationship that's going to serve you. But yeah, I think you just have to sort of ask the question, like, this is a value for me. Like I need to be able to demonstrate like a giant load when I have sex with the bottom. And if I don't do that, I'm going to be distressed and stressed. So what can we do to fix it?
And then on the other part of the question, speaking of finding a new one, what are your thoughts on being open, honest, and direct from the start, or playing the game of roulette?
I mean, I was putting myself in the position of this person's bottom.
Yes.
Coming inside me is a value add only to the extent that it pleases you. Like, I'm ambivalent. Like, what I want is your dick inside me, and for me to jack myself off while you fuck me. Your load to me does not matter.
Right.
Unless you really want to come and that's what does it for you.
Right.
My point in saying that is, yes, I hear Dr. Daddy when he's saying, like, if this is the problem, it could be fixed. Or with conversation, you can say, like, I'll pound you, but I may not come. I personally would be fine with that.
Right.
I mean, just first of all, you need to make a t-shirt that says your load doesn't matter. The other thing is, it's like, if you're seeking someone in a hookup that says like, come pig bottom, come inside me, like you're only setting yourself up for like potentially like stress and disappointment.
Yeah.
So like, that's the other part. I mean, like, but if that's your value, you've got to figure it out with your doctor.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think as long as I get the pounding that I need, I don't need the come inside me. And also, it's actually kind of more convenient. There's less for me to deal with after the fact if you don't. But I'm happy to do it, like you said, if that's what's going to get you off. So I think that if you communicate up front and it turns somebody off, great, that wasn't the right person for you, and you will find somebody who doesn't care, I would think pretty quickly. And B, I would be open and honest and direct from the front, because I don't want you to have that in your head the whole time. Like, how are you enjoying sex if you're like, fuck, I might not come. Fuck, I might not. Like, just get that out of your head. Know that the person that you're with is okay with it from the start, and then you'll enjoy the interaction much more.
There's something that men will ask from me that I tell them immediately is not going to work because I don't want to disappoint them.
Yeah.
And that is very specifically riding my dick. It's just a position that does not work for me. The minute I'm like on my back with my dick in the air, it goes soft. So like I can't get it in anywhere. So when a man asks me for that, he ultimately responds.
Sorry, you're the top. A bottom says they want to ride you.
I'm the top. The bottom says he wants to ride me.
Okay.
I respond, and it almost always goes one of two ways. Either A, that is expressly what they were looking for,
right,
so I'm not a good option for them. Or B, it was basically like a surrogate for fuck me dirty talk. And they'll take any position that's available.
That's where I am. I don't care the position. Yeah.
Yeah. But if it's like, I want to ride your dick, it's like, oh, is that the thing that you're actually looking for? Or is that just you're saying like you want to fuck in some way? That can be the conversation for this gentleman and his bottoms.
Yes. And if you're meeting these folks on the apps, you didn't know them 3 seconds ago. There's more out there. Like, I always advocate for being honest and going for exactly what you want, because I don't know what else. What's the point otherwise? Like, if you're like, I
agree. I mean, like, it's, like I said, if you're on the cum bottom pig app,
right, maybe change apps. Yeah.
Right? Like, just saying.
Get on Yelp.
Right.
Right.
Like, I mean, it's, I feel like, it is a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yeah.
And so I think, also just honest. You don't have to be like, hello, here's my clinical circumstance.
Right. I take 20 milligrams.
Right. It's not like, that's not what's going to happen. But it's like, if someone comes in hot and says like, I need you to come loads and loads and loads in me, I think it's fair to say like, hey, I will like give you the pounding that you deserve, but I may not come because like I have like, I'm on some meds that can do that.
Right. But that's totally cool with me.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. Well, I want to thank all of our listeners for their questions this week. Thank you so much. Again, so great. And Dr. Daddy seems to be down for coming back whenever y'all want him. So, and we love having him here.
Oh, shucks. I love being here.
So, send us your Go Ask Your Dad questions. Send questions for Dr. Daddy. We also have Dr. Evan Goldstein coming back to talk specifically about your butthole.
The butts.
So send us your questions at dadsandaddies@gmail.com. Again, voice memos do turn us on the most. Demetre, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Tell our listeners how they can find you.
So you can probably, if you want to find me, my Instagram's probably the best way.
Yes.
So it's at Dr. Demetre, Dr. Demetre, and it's Demetre.
Yes.
And another great place to find where I work is visiting Callen-Lorde's Instagram or their website. Lots of great information there.
And for Callen-Lorde specifically, the party and prep kits are available now.
Yeah,
they can go into
this is our first attempt at them, and so we're going to go until we're out and see what's next. But yeah, right now, like, keep an eye on the social media, keep an eye on our website. We'll tell you where we're going to be. I think we're going to like a post party for Folsom East today or tomorrow. Like, we're doing a bunch of things.
Oh, amazing!
So it's going to be keep your eye out on our social media. Follow Callen-Lorde. Follow me.
Yeah,
we'll make sure we tell you where we are.
Yeah. Thank you all again for listening this week. We love you all so much. Don't forget to hit subscribe if you haven't already. If you haven't, please leave us a 5-star rating, write us a review. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, YouTube, or wherever you get your podcasts. Do check out dadsanddaddies.com. You can sign up for our weekly newsletter and pick up some Dads and Daddies merch. And with all that said, we will say goodbye. We love you, and we will see you in a week.
Mwah.